Imagine being on the phone all day, talking with strangers, trying to set up meetings with them. In this video, I will share why cold calling is the most important sales skill you'll ever learn and how cold calling is the most effective modern sales strategy to setting more meetings. Cold calling is like playing slot machines, but you'll never lose your money. When you cold call, you call a prospect out of the blue, you interrupt their day, and you run the risk of being told no or rejected in an epic fashion. I've made over 60,000 cold calls, been told no, rejected thousands of times, and believe me, it never feels good when you answer the phone and they say, "How did you get my number? I don't accept solicitation calls." And they hang up on you. You get petty. You send them a message on LinkedIn and you say, "Hey, I'm gonna call you back in a month." And then you instantly regret it. I've done that before, petty. But if you convince a prospect to say yes and they take your meeting, that leads to money directly into your pocket, like hitting a jackpot. When you play the slot machine, it's addictive. You have this feeling of euphoria because you're chasing the win, but you run the downside of losing your money. Once you can rewire your brain to think of cold calling as playing the slots or gambling, of my downside is limited, I'll be told no, I'll be rejected, that will last 5 seconds, I'll get past it because I have a short memory, but the upside is unlimited because the more calls I make, the more money that's gonna go in my pocket, the more successful I'm gonna be. So once you figure out what to say, how to approach it, how to speak, it really starts to become fun. And for that reason, I prepared my 5-step B2B cold calling strategy and script. Visit the first link in the description below, softwaresalesguide.com. Not only will cold calling help you make more money and be more successful, but it will also help level up the most important skill of your entire life, which is communication. Imagine DMing girls on Instagram, which I have done. I have a very low success rate. When you send that Instagram DM, all that matters at that point, doesn't even matter what you said, all that matters, and you know they're gonna look at it, is your pictures. And if they do not like what they've seen in your profile, your pictures, the brand you're putting out, how you carry yourself online, then they're not gonna respond, right? But in cold calling, as a 27-year-old guy who doesn't know anything, I can call 40, 50 plus executives that are making 10 times more money than me. And simply because I can articulate a succinct value proposition demonstrating how my product, service, or solution would benefit them or help them be more successful, they are willing to take their busy time, which is more valuable than my time, to meet with me to talk about their priorities and how I can help them. Think about that. Once you learn how to communicate, you can change the entire trajectory of your life because there's so many successful people out there, brilliant people, who cannot communicate their ideas. They have something to say, but nobody will listen because they cannot gain attention of other people. And with cold calling, the most important thing is speaking in a way with full conviction and confidence that what you are saying is a matter of fact. I want you to take a few moments after this video, after you've already subscribed to the channel, look yourself dead in the eye, in the mirror, and sell yourself. Pitch yourself. Look yourself in the eye and say, would I buy from myself? How confident am I? And once you get to a place where you can speak with absolute conviction that what you are saying is right, even if it may not be right, that's when you know you're at a great place. Because as I said, I've made 60,000 cold calls, and one of the principles I've learned, one of the lessons, and in the beginning, I needed a script because I was worried about what to say. I did too much research. I would look at my CRM, I would look at their website, their LinkedIn profile. And then the girl next to me who had been at my company 9 months longer because I was literally a weekend, she's like, "You're wasting time, press call and figure out what to say later." That completely transformed my approach because I realized I don't need to say the right things because what I'm saying doesn't matter as much as how I'm saying it. So if you can speak in a way with full conviction, full confidence, people will believe you because on the cold call, all that matters is those first 15 seconds. The reason I'm calling you is, hey, how have you been? Psychologically, they want to understand because they don't recognize your number. If you're calling your friend, they see your name and they answer it. It's a warm call. When it's a cold call, they don't know who you are. They don't recognize you. So they're thinking, okay, who are you? What do you want? Why are you calling them specifically? Well, hey, the reason I'm calling you is I noticed that you oversee marketing and we help other marketing leaders do XYZ. Would you like to set up a meeting to talk about how we can help you more? That is the entire purpose of the cold call. You are selling time. And when we think about modern sales strategies, There are different prospecting channels or approaches. They say omni approach. You want to use cold email. You want to use LinkedIn, social selling. You want to use cold calling. You want to rely on marketing events such as putting out content, doing webinars. You want to write notes. You want to have events. There's all these different ways of gaining attention, but the most important thing is to get out of obscurity. They need to know who you are. And if you're sending an email, it's easy to press delete. If you're trying to send notes on LinkedIn, it's easy to say ignore, block them. When you are calling, they cannot block you, right? If they block your email, if they unsubscribe, whatever it is, I add them to a call-only sequence because no matter how hard they try, they cannot ignore my call. I will call them with my cell phone so that my number shows up on their call. I will also call them with local presence so that a local area code number shows up on their phone. I will do whatever it takes to get in front of them. I will start leaving voice messages. So they're thinking, man, this guy's called me 50 times in the last year. I have to get back to him. I cannot ignore him any longer. I have one specific story in my software sales career. I called a prospect 57 times. Eventually, I caught him at a place where he said, you know what? We're in the market to change our solution. I'd like to take a meeting with you. Fast forward 3 months later, we closed a $20,000 annual recurring revenue software deal. And the entire purpose of the story is the consistent cold calling, removed obscurity, gained his attention, so we were able to connect at the right time to set up a meeting to talk about how my solution could benefit him. When you think about modern sales strategies, name another channel that is more direct, that cuts through all of the obscurity and the noise and the fog. Think of that light in the distance when you're going at sea and all this fog. You need to see the light to get back to the dock. That's the only way you're going to get to shore. And when you're speaking in a way that's full of conviction, speaking this water analogy, imagine the last time you jumped in a pool. When you jumped off the diving board or maybe in the ocean, you knew in that moment you were going to get wet. There was no going back. You probably had your bathing suit on, maybe you got pushed in, maybe you had your phone in the pocket. You knew you were going to get wet. There was no changing that fact, right? When you call, you know that you're going to eventually reach somebody else. You know that they're going to be confused why they're calling you. When you get up on a stage in front of people, you know that you're going to be feeling nervous. But if you just accept, I will have full confidence, belief, and conviction in what I'm saying, other people will have to believe what I'm saying as well, because the only reason why they would lose confidence in you or not take your meeting is if they don't think that you believe in yourself or you know what you're talking about. As long as you're talking in a way where you know what you're talking about, you can reach anybody directly to get their attention and make the ask to potentially get what you want, to put money directly in your pocket. Cold calling is the most important sales skill I've ever learned. The more I promote, the higher up I go in my career, the more important it becomes. And as I think about all the different modern sales strategies I use to generate pipeline, cold calling is by far my favorite. So if you want to gain access to my proven script, strategy, live cold call role plays to hear exactly what I say live reps on the phone, click the first link in the description below. Subscribe to the channel now if you haven't already. I will talk to you in the next video.